The views and opinions expressed in this show do not represent those of Cal State Fullerton, the College of Health and Human Development, or the Kinesiology program.
Ready, aim, fire.
Welcome to Kinesiology 101, the podcast for kinesiology majors by kinesiology majors. Every week we bring you a new and exciting guest with tons of knowledge and experience both in and outside of the classroom here at Cal State Fullerton. Let's get the episode going, okay? So, we're live back at Kinesiology 101. My name's Jose. My guest today is my friend Anthony Villanueva. Anthony, what's up, man?
Everything's good. Yeah, it's good day.
Before we get talking about the upcoming semester, tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself.
Well, right now I'll be going into the second semester of my 5th year in college. I'm a undergraduate in kinesiology, or I'm working on a bachelor's for kinesiology, hopefully with a concentration in strength and conditioning. And I'm also working on a bachelor's of arts in ethnic studies, concentration Asian American studies.
Nice. And where are you from? Like, what high school did you go to? Sports that you played high school?
I went to high school in Anaheim, Servite High School, an all-boys school, private Catholic school. And I didn't really get to play sports in high school, which is a little ironic, but I'll get to that story later. The only sport I played was track and field, shot put.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see you now, dude. I can see you now throwing that damn heavy ball around. Nice. So, coming out of high school, how did you first hear of the kinesiology program here at Cal State Fullerton? Or what led you to the program here?
When I came to Cal State Fullerton, I was actually a pre-business major in music. I was performing in the orchestra. And then I really didn't like sitting behind a desk or behind a computer working on Excel documents in business. And then the music program demanded so much work, so I just didn't want to do either of those. And I thought about what my favorite class was in high school, which was athletic training and anatomy, those two classes. And then the closest classes I could find here was kinesiology. And I found that, and since I was fortunate enough to be in the Finish in 4 program, I was able to transfer real quick and get into the classes easily.
So you heard about that program, right? Finish in 4. Do they still have that?
They still have it, yeah. But it's crazy strict now.
Yeah, because look at it. Check it out, man. When I applied here, I did computer science. That was what I applied, coming out of high school. And so it was a 5-year program, so they didn't have 4-year, Finish in 4 computer science people.
Yeah.
But man, do I wish I would have taken that, because the priority is pretty important, right?
Yeah, it's priority registration. Actually, they kicked me out, I think, last year because they realized, wait, you are double majoring now, so no, you can't stay in a Finish in 4 program. You're not going to finish in 4 years, so you're done. But ever since I left, I still have the priority registration. But now now I'm a super senior, so it's really easy to get classes at the same time.
Yeah, definitely, dude. So let's continue on the track of with your kines, enrollment and your first classes here as a kines major. Did you take the activity classes, kines 202, or some of the early classes you took early on, freshman, sophomore year?
Kines 202 was definitely that one. I forgot who my teacher was. I think it was Dr. Becker. Or
Andrea Becker?
Andrea Becker.
Okay, I had her too, yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. I mean, she showed what you could do with kinesiology, and I enjoyed it. But I kind of had my heart already set on what I wanted to do, which was somehow get into coaching or teaching. So the whole class, learning about PT and everything was just like, it's okay, I'll just overlook that right now because I really want to coach.
Right, yeah.
So then that's when I got into the PE coaching track, and then I left that track because I didn't want to be a PE teacher, but hopefully I will find myself in a teaching position eventually again. But in the beginning, just that 202 class. I didn't take any activity classes because I had friends in the major program. They told me, you should save your activity classes for senior year or the junior year so that when you're finishing up your undergraduate, you're going to have fun classes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's continue talking about your school, man. Like, what are some of the classes that were very noteworthy? You remember some professors who probably had a tremendous impact on your career goals, plans?
probably the biggest impact, and I'm sure you're gonna say the same thing too, would be Dr. Andy Galpin.
Yes.
Huge impact on my career, on my career path, wanting to get into strength and conditioning.
Did you have him for 351?
I had him for 351.
Principles of strength conditioning.
Yeah, and the nutrition class as well.
470.
And then this most recent one, the 458.
Yeah.
Which was
the measurements of strength
techniques.
conditioning.
Wait, 351 was strength and conditioning.
Principles, yeah.
Principles. And then 458 was the techniques of measurements, or measurement techniques in strength and conditioning. Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
No.
No?
Yes.
I'll have to look it up again.
You know, it's funny because a lot of these classes kind of have the same title, like 320, right?
Mm-hmm. What is that? Was technique.
Exactly. See what I mean?
Yeah.
They have the same title, and a lot of the content that, you know, you learn and the professor kind of talks about, it's kind of the same stuff, you know? It's like you're applying it, and then you're presenting it. 458, it was more about, you know, through the lab reports.
Yeah.
The 320 that we both took as well last semester with Albert, it was just the visual, right? Presentations, videos, you know, demos in front of the class.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying about Dr. Galpin.
Yeah. Pretty much Dr. Galpin, like his classes got me to understand what my body was capable of and what I can do to become a better person, to help other people become better people too. And so because of his classes and because of his lessons, that's what I want to do. My dream job is to go back to my high school and coach.
Yeah.
Because there's someone out there who's just like me, who didn't know anything about sports and nutrition, and I want to help that person understand.
Definitely. And you said you took him for the nutrition class too, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't take that class formally. I sat in during the summer, so I also feel like I got some of it, some of the knowledge from him. But even though there's only one nutrition class, I guess, in the kinesiology program, that class is very, very powerful too, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's a big deal when it comes to strength and conditioning, the nutrition aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of his classes. I mean, taking all three of his classes, it's almost like taking the same class over and over again, but with the different titles, with a different emphasis.
Right.
You know? Excuse me. Yeah. The way, I think if I took each class with different teachers, I wouldn't have been able to understand the same thing.
Right.
Because he put everything together perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now that I guess we're gonna be graduating, or we might not take him again, we go online, you know, YouTube, barbell shrug, and then it's reinforceful, right?
Yeah.
All of the interviews that he comes on, talks about, it's everything that we learned, really. I mean, I had to start following barbell shrug because of 450. You're gonna be taking that, right? 450 program design.
Yeah,
okay.
this semester.
So if you didn't listen or you didn't watch barbell shrug before, you're gonna be doing a lot of that, and then tech watts, and then a lot of that stuff. But yeah, aside from Dr. Galpin, was there any other class that you feel like, wow, like I may not ever really apply this, but it's instilled and it's gonna always, you know, be with me, you know?
I have a teacher, I haven't spoken to her in a long time, but she pretty much, this is while I was in the PE coaching track. Her name is Coraline Glarum. Her special thing was she cared about students, and she cared about coaching special needs students.
Okay.
And so in this class, we learned how to be PE teachers. We learned how to coach students, so bigger groups. So it's not so specific in physiology, but on how to work with numbers and how to get people involved, how to make sure no one gets left out, how to make sure everyone gets a chance in being able to move. And it was her thing that got me thinking that I want to be with students.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if I had a choice to work with adults or students, they'd be students. High school students.
Yeah.
I mean, they need, in my opinion, they need the most help. Because they're growing up, they need guidance. I don't think I'll work with, like, elementary school students. There's too much, like, movement. Like,
right. It's like they don't know what DOMS is, right?
Yeah, yeah. But high school students, they're old enough to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of that class?
I think it was Movement in the Child. I don't remember what the number was. I mean, if you write the description of this episode, I can list out my favorite classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I think I've heard of that class too, and it's for people who are following that same track, right?
Coaching, teaching. And I was actually the only kinesiology student in that class. I think I was one out of 3 guys in that class. Out of 40 students. Everyone was girls who were CHAD majors, child adolescent studies.
Okay.
So it was Yeah, I was the only guy in kinesiology too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So I think you mentioned too you're a double major, right?
Mhm.
What's your other major, and why did you decide to do a double major instead of maybe just minoring or just focusing on your other kinesiology?
I think that if I stuck with kinesiology by myself, I could have finished in 4 years, maybe 4.5. But when I chose to pick up ethnic studies or Asian American studies as my second major, I almost felt like guilt tripped into it. First, like, you know how in college we had to take general education classes?
Right.
I was looking at our TDA, the Time Degree Audit, and seeing all the classes I could take for like cultural competencies, and I see something called ASAM. I find out that's Asian American Studies, and then so Asian American Studies 300 was pretty much the introduction to Asian American Studies. How did Asian American Studies start in America? I was like, you know what? I'm Asian. I'm Filipino. I don't know much about my own ethnicity in America. I don't know much about my family here in America. So I took the class. It was one class, Dr. Tu and Win, and she pretty much showed me like my life and my ancestors, not my ancestors, but like how it's funny how she knew how my parents came to America before I knew it. And she knew, and then just learning about all the different types of Asians that came to America also, and all the struggles and health problems they have here too. And that's why, like, when I chose to become a double major, I want to make sure that I'll be a well-rounded person. With me, with the kinesiology side, I want to be able to help people get healthier. For the Asian American Studies side, I want to somehow help people in the community, those that don't have the opportunity that I did, that grew up. Because I grew up pretty okay, because my parents worked real hard here, and so they put me in good schools and everything. But there's some kids out there, and I'm seeing them right now, that they're not doing very well in health, especially. There's people like me when I was a kid, I was obese and everything.
Yeah.
So I want to help them out.
Okay. Oh, that's nice, dude. Because a lot of people, I guess, they take another major, but there's not really like a purpose, right? Or at least the purpose isn't as strong as you just mentioned yours is.
Mine does have purpose as the wanting to give back to the community, but the other one was the guilt trip part.
Yeah.
I mean, because like in Asian American Studies, it's a really tiny program, but they really care about the students. Like my teacher, Dr. Tu and Win, she brought me to Washington, D.C. to work. I had to speak to Senate members. Wow. I had to not protest, but I had to rally for women's rights and immigration reform.
Way to go, Anthony, man.
That was Washington, D.C. And then she also brought me to Hawaii to present to college professors on current research that we're doing right now in the community, kinesiology related and Asian American Studies related. And then other places too. She sent me to San Diego to learn how to be a coach. Okay. She knew I wanted to be a coach, and so she told me, it's like, this is an opportunity for you to become a better person. So I'm sending you down here to go to this conference. And then so that was San Diego, and then San Francisco, and like these are all paid for by the department. I didn't have to pay for anything. Wow. And so that told me, it's like, this is Asian American Studies. I want to do that because in the end, I want to come back and do the same thing for others also. Nice. Yeah.
That's strong. I think you have a strong purpose. So it's great for listeners to kind of learn from you. They may be in similar positions.
Yeah, this is 5 years of college so far, so I think I got the full experience.
Yeah. See, I'm 5 years too, and I did a minor in health science. Same thing. They threw us in a pilot program for the community. So it was Hispanic based. The program I think was called Comunidades y Comidas Latinas, something with food in the community, and we were just a pilot program to see if the classes that we took for that would have an impact in how we go about policy reform, structuring less liquor stores, more supermarkets. Yeah. It's that kind of, implementation. I liked it. We took nutrition classes. We took policy reform classes, But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, kinesiology, where you at? I kind of like this a little bit more. That's not to say that I cannot ever do this. I mean, I feel we're pretty empowered, right? Yeah. With our degrees, we're pretty empowered. We've worked with a lot of different people, so we know what we're capable of. But yeah, that's a great story, man. What are your current projects? I mean, the reason I kind of mentioned this is because I know you're very good at something. Guns, dude. Oh, that's one of your hobbies, right?
Yeah, it is. That's one of my hobbies. I could talk about that right now. I guess for me, that's another reason why I'm on this mission. I mean, not a lot of people would see it, but competitive shooting, that's a sport right there.
Yeah.
You're moving. It takes a lot of skill. I mean, if people consider, I'm not bagging on it in sports, but if people consider curling a sport,
It's an Olympic sport, right?
Yeah, it's an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Competitive shooting, and actually competitive shooting isn't in the Olympics too. Archery and not, I mean archery, but I don't know what the actual, is it cross country? Yeah, cross country. Yeah, I do. I'm a competitive shooter. I'm Asian. I'm an Asian American who likes to shoot guns, basically.
Why did you mention that part?
Not a lot of Asians like. I mean, there's liberal and there's like conservative Asians, but most Asians, especially like Asian parents, will hate it to see a gun in the house.
Okay.
I mean, my parents didn't like it at first. I turned 21, got my first one because I turned 21, and it was an interest. It was a high interest in it. It was mainly because family. We're in the military. Filipinos. There's a huge Filipino history in the military. So I have some family in the military, and I didn't join the military. I didn't join law enforcement, but I still want to be involved in what they did. So this is how I got in, and yeah, I've competed in 2 challenges so far, and I actually have one coming up on Wednesday.
Nice.
This coming Wednesday, the second day of school.
How do you prepare for like an event like that?
It takes a lot of. There's a saying. It's called "slow is smooth and smooth is fast," and that's pretty much how I take everything in my life about teaching other people.
Yeah.
If people move fast and they're learning how to learn something new, they're gonna mess up. So the slower you go, the more smoother it's gonna go. So it'll look clean. It'll be a lot better. So every time I go shooting, everything is slow. Like I know people who go to the shooting range, they'll go and shoot like 300 rounds in 2 hours. I can make 50 rounds last a full hour because I'm that slow when I shoot. But like that's the thing, like I can shoot the same hole like straight. For me, I put my targets out at 5 yards. People make fun of me. It's like that's like super close, but I can shoot my same hole every single time. As opposed to the person that sends it out 25 yards, and they have like this huge spread of like their grouping is like 7 inches long, which is really terrible. But mine is like dead on bullseye every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of what you mentioned sounds like something that I've learned, something I've heard a lot in a 371 human motor control.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Right. I don't know who you took for that class.
Barrows?
Okay, so you did Dr. Barrows too. And I remember we did an assignment. It was like the pencil tapping, I think.
The tap test.
You remember that? You have like I think like circles on 2 papers or on the same paper. And the faster you do, that's the whole I think concept, right? The faster you do something, the less accurate you are. And I guess it kind of ties in with the shooting too, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing with shooting. Like all of the events are timed, and so you think I need to go fast so I can score high. Well, if you move too fast and miss a lot, you're not going to score anything.
Right.
So like the first stage that, for example, just an example is you have to shoot 5 rounds at a pie plate that's 5 yards away within 5 seconds. So anyone who's done this challenge knows you should go slow. But then all the new people, they just go like guns blazing real quick and they miss. And that's already like minus 50 points right there. It's like, you suck. Sorry. Yeah.
Back to Call of Duty.
Yeah, back to Call of Duty.
Wow. So that's interesting because, you know, a lot of the people in the Kinesiology field, they're probably competitive but in the sport, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see them training, you know, doing whatever it is to prepare for it, getting bigger, getting stronger, getting faster. You're getting slower.
That's a good point. I wouldn't say I'm getting slower. It's I guess my focus is getting more precise.
You're getting better.
Yeah, I mean I'm getting faster. By moving slow, I'm getting better at controlling myself, and then that will help me get faster in the long run.
Yeah.
More accurate. So the speed accuracy trade off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that when you're not? Let's keep talking about this topic. When you're not actively, you know, whether it's practice, whether it's an event. When you're not involved in it, do you still kind of, you know, use imagery?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you go to like close your eyes or some sort of meditation to kind of just bring you back to that moment, kind of visualize what you're going to be doing, what you're planning on doing for your, you know, competitive event. Do you use a lot of that stuff? Does a lot of that kind of tie back to what you learned, some classes perhaps?
Yeah. Visualization is a huge thing for me. If I close my eyes right now, I know exactly how to draw my handgun out of my holster, bring it up to my sight. So sight picture. Yeah, sight picture. Knowing how to aim it real slow. If I close my eyes, I can see everything right now. But that actually started off in high school.
Okay.
Shooting didn't start in high school, but I used to perform in the orchestra and classical guitar. And our teacher told us that if you're not playing your guitar right now, like before you go to bed, just close your eyes and pretend you're playing the guitar. And that's a form of practice. When you're working out, pretend you're playing the guitar also. Pretend you're reaching for different frets on the guitar, and that's practice. And in my opinion, that does help. It trained me. I forgot what class it was. I think it was not Patterson. I think it was Dr. Patterson's class, one of her classes. But visualization was a huge thing in practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that a lot because I think I took last year. I took 342 stress management with Dr. Revisa. I don't know if that name sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, closing your eyes, focusing, being in the moment. You would have loved that class. You know, you probably would have. No, I don't want to say you would have brought your gun to class, but but you would have enjoyed, you know, whatever it is that you're learning, and you know how to just be focused, be ready, be assertive. And I feel like a sport like yours, a sport, right?
Yeah.
It's very necessary to have all those skills. You know, you don't gotta be the buffest guy, right?
No, you don't have to be the buffest guy. There's like guys smaller than me, there's guys bigger than me, and it all just comes down to skill and aiming. And it's interesting on how we shoot. Actually forgot what I was gonna say.
I know recently though that you showed me that you started putting a GoPro on your, you know, the weapons that you use for practice, for the trainings that you do on the weekends. I'm not sure like the specific title for that, but and then you go back and you edit your videos. Do you feel like with that kind of addition to your practice, the video part, does that help you a lot too? Or
right now it's not.
Or is that just to get a lot of likes on Facebook? What's the status of that?
It's to share, like, you know, that journey, like this is what I'm doing right now. But with the video, you can see all the mistakes you're doing.
Right.
So I'm seeing what I can do. I could have reloaded better. I could have counted rounds better, knowing when. So timing is everything in a time sport. So the videos do help. You see everything you do.
Yeah. So right now you have one on like your gun, or do you have also like a helmet?
I have one. It's a GoPro, and that can go on my helmet. I can mount on my rifle. It can mount on my shoulder strap. Everywhere, pretty much. It can mount anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Are there any other set of hobbies, activities you're involved with currently doing?
For kinesiology related?
For life, I guess. Any research that you've been involved with too?
I'd say right now that I'm using both my kinesiology and Asian American Studies background in my current job.
What do you do?
My professor, Dr. Tu and Nguyen, she received a $1.3 million grant to research or to perform impact research on these students in a high school. And she hired me as a student assistant, knowing that I was a kinesiology major, to help her in the health aspect of it. Right now in this high school, I'm just going to keep it blank for now because I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name yet or anything like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just start from the base. I'm technically employed by Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton sends me to an organization out in a community. This community organization sends me to this high school in this after-school program. In this after-school program, I'm in charge of mentoring these students. I'm in charge of giving them workshops on health, drug resistance, being able to make the best choices, and leadership training, and then also on nutrition and fitness. So I'm leading them in all these different fun ways to exercise. And most of the students in this class or in this program are Asian American, but then everyone comes into Hispanic, South Asian, Indian, pretty much everyone comes in. And that's where I come in as a coach. I help them in everything in this Asian American community.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a job that you're going to have through college, or is that something also post-college?
Technically, right now, the only person that can do this job I'm doing right now has to be a student. And since I have 2 semesters left, they'll either going to have to let me go or hire me. And there's been talks about it already because the research is not going to be done until 2 more years.
Okay.
So they're most likely going to keep me on. Yeah.
Good for you, man. You know, you have an idea what you're going to do afterward. That's great.
Yeah.
And both of the majors that you declared here as an undergrad seem to fit in perfect.
They both tie in very well.
Yeah. There's another job that you do, though. right?
Oh.
Let's talk about that. I think it's pretty cool.
So by day, I'm in an after-school program with high school students, but by night,
You're the nicest guy, right? During the day.
yeah, they know me. they mess around with me too. But I'm sure when you'll see from the picture, you'll see me. I could look a little intimidating. I am also a bouncer in downtown Fullerton.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Yeah, there's fights every weekend, and it's just stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently, where did you get to work as a bouncer?
Oh,
I thought it was pretty cool.
being a bouncer, you need something called a guard card through the Bureau of Security Investigation Services. And with this guard card, you make contacts, if you got a network basically, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that through this whole podcast series. My networking led me to, his name is Big Abe. He found me as a big Filipino, so I've been bodyguarding import models in the car shows.
Okay.
His other guy that he hired me for, he picked me up to work at the Golden Globes this past Sunday. So I pretty much saw all these movie stars, and actually my post at the location was bomb sweeping. I was checking all the limousines for bombs, telling the driver to drop all the windows and open the trunk, glove compartment, and I could just see all the celebrities. Everyone going by. Jennifer Lopez, she was there. It was I call her out because she was very attractive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool, because then, and to an extent, I guess that ties in with your hobby, right? Of, working with guns, but also being very, specific, very careful. Mm-hmm. And then this job, to an extent too, right? Is also you got to be very careful what you're doing. You got to be very aware. Do you kind of agree? A lot of it kind of ties together. It's like everything that you're doing is not just like a random job or some random thing that you're doing. It all seems to kind of just be in the same loop. Everything
I do, I do it well. If there's something worth doing, you better do it well.
Yeah.
So, working with high school students, you're working with minors. So you have to be careful with everything you do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying the job is really, really hard. You have to watch every step. But it's with high school minors. You have to make sure that you're teaching them the right way. You can't just talk to them like you would with college friends.
Exactly, yeah.
Even though I've wanted to before. 'Cause some of them are just like weeks younger than a freshman in college, and you wish you could talk to them, but no, you have to understand that these are high school students. You're part of their growth. Mm-hmm. So be careful with high school students. And then working in security, your job is security. I mean, there's different types of security jobs out there, but me as a bouncer, I need to make sure that no one's trying to hurt you, no one's trying to jump on. I'm gonna be straightforward right now, but like you gotta make sure that no guys try to jump on girls inside of clubs. Yeah. You don't want that inside of your club, and you want to keep the safety up. And when you're at the Golden Globes, I was working alongside FBI, CIA, sheriffs, PD, police department, making sure that security was up there. Yeah, Golden Globes, it kind of sounds important, right? Yeah, I mean, the Golden Globes, like when I was there, I don't watch it, but I mean, I think it's pretty important. The Golden Globes, pretty much like it's invite only. Like the only celebrities that get to go have to be asked to come. You can't just go in there like, can I buy a ticket? Actually, you can do this. You can buy a ticket for like, I don't know how much, I'm going to make it up. But you can I'm going to buy a ticket for $10,000 to walk on the red carpet to show myself to the cameras. Uh-huh. Not go to the dinner where all the A-list celebrities go. I'm going to go to the tent outside next to the construction site to watch the actual celebrities get awards. So you have to be like the top of the best celebrities to go to the actual ceremony inside. Okay. Yeah, so that's the people I was surrounded with. And everyone is short. I'm going to be honest. Everyone's like tiny. Yeah, you're a big guy. I'm a tiny guy, dude. Goes well. Yeah. You mentioned networking. Did you get to do a lot of networking in that event? Yeah, actually, they asked me, they told me, it's like, yeah, you're a good guy. We're going to ask you to come back for the BET Awards, the Grammys, the Oscars. Wow. So I have pretty much all those like on my calendar now. Nice. Yeah. I just have to get better shoes because like the shift I worked was, like I got off my bouncing job at 3 a.m. or 2:30 a.m., drove to Beverly Hills at 3 a.m., fell asleep in the car, woke up at 5 to put on my suit. And then met with the security team to get briefed and everything. Started my shift at 8 a.m., get off at 6:30 p.m. They told me, you can work till 1 a.m. if you want. Mm-hmm. So that could have been, normal pay, time and a half pay, double time pay. I didn't do that because my shoes were killing me. I had to buy a black and white suit for that day and shoes, and I never wore them before. You look sharp, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, you look sharp, dude. Thank you. But yeah. If you're going to buy shoes, make sure they're very comfortable if you're going to wear them for that long. Yeah, see, I would think that you would want to look
more tougher, you know. My shade's got to be a little darker. But you're worried about the shoes. That's interesting.
No, that's what security is. I mean,
Yeah.
I make security sound so cool and fun, but there's like really crappy security jobs out there. In any security job out there, you're rarely gonna sit. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You're not. If honestly, also, this is like a plug-in for security jobs. Like, it's the perfect job for college students because there's jobs hours from 24 hours a day. So if you're a day student, then you can go to work at night. You can work graveyard jobs and do your homework like on the job sometimes, and that's what I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too because for a job like that, I think it would help, right, to have like a background with like martial arts or self-defense. And I think from a recent post, you're gonna take Aikido next.
Yeah. I mean, I already took Aikido, but I'm gonna take it again.
Oh, you took it already? Okay.
Yeah. It was a fun class.
Chi, ni, sa, chi.
Yeah.
yeah.
Counting Japanese.
Ikkyo, nikyo, yeah.
I do have martial arts background too, Muay Thai. But that actually started my freshman year in college when I found out that can I start with like my health? Can I mention something about my health right now?
Oh, we're about to... No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, dude.
What is it called? Back when I was 5 years old, my parents, they told me that I had to get open heart surgery. So by getting open heart surgery, they didn't let me do any sports as a kid. And from there, growing up in a Filipino family, lots of food, lots of fats and oils, lots of animal protein, just got really, really unhealthy. And jumped to high school, joined the track and field team, started lifting with the shot put guys. I could see my body change a bit. It wasn't too much though. Going into college, I was more on my own. My parents didn't really know that I picked up Muay Thai here in the rec center, actually.
Okay.
So I've been doing it for 2-3 years.
Shout out to
there.
the rec center.
Yeah, the rec center. I took the Muay Thai class there, and that's when I realized my body changed like crazy quick. I started getting bigger, started losing fat. And then that plus with the kinesiology lessons I've been taking with strength conditioning, I found out how to take care of my body. And then this is what I have today. I'm a bouncer. And this is, I don't know.
A damn good one, too.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. So, like, let's finish off on the topic of networking. You mentioned it, right? It's kind of how you got this gig at the Golden Globes. It's also a very, very common piece of advice for a lot of students, for any major. But with particularly to our kinesiology students, it's very important because that's how a lot of us get connected, right? Is there any other sort of advice you would kind of throw in there aside from networking?
I would say you're in college right now. Don't look at Cal State Fullerton as a commuter school. If this is just going to students, but like any college you are in, make sure you do something on campus. Don't just go to class, go home, go to class, go home. You need to do something on campus. Get involved. You'll meet people, and you also get to live the experience. Because if I didn't, I joined a fraternity my freshman year.
Okay.
And with that, I met everyone. I traveled the state also to see my other chapters. You network like crazy. But I'm not saying just join a fraternity. You can join different clubs.
Right.
And also, don't be afraid of teachers. Talk to them. They're human too, and it's their job to help us.
They're intimidating, though.
Yeah, well, they're also in charge of your grades. So if you want to get on top of your grade, you better talk to them.
You did a lot of office hours visitations.
Oh, yeah. Especially. I mean, my office hours in the last 3 years was probably like quadruple the amount I did freshman year because I was scared as a freshman. But I'm going to tell you right now, freshmen, that talk to your teachers because they're here to help you. They're not just here to give you a grade. They're actually here to help you. That's why they got the job they wanted. I mean, because sometime when they were younger, going through their education, they decided, I want to help students. They're just not telling you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's a great piece to wrap up this episode, man. I feel like we're gonna need to have you for like future episodes with like other groups of people, just because there's so much more we could talk about.
That's okay.
But I mean, I'm glad that we got to at least hear a little bit more about you, your experiences, dude. So, any final piece?
I'm all good. I'll be around.
Do you recommend people to listen to this podcast?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll learn a lot.
All right.
From regular people.
Regular, awesome people like you. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you for listening. See you guys soon.